Hey everyone, so this is my story. I may or may not be sticking to it, but I've been traveling for quite some time, and where I came from it was a little warmer. As you can see, we have snow. It's end of November, and I'm chasing down a legend. From what I hear, there's an area somewhere up in the North Woods of Michigan that supposedly has an entire basement full of model trains. I've been walking for quite some time, and I'm going to see if we can find it. So let's continue to follow the yellow brick lines, and I'm sure if I just keep walking and walking and walking, I'll see some sort of clue. Well, this could be something. Possibly a clue that I'm in the right place. Let's find out. This seems to be a driveway worth walking down. And I do see in the distance something that might confirm my suspicion. We possibly may be on the right trail. And let me know what you think, but is it trespassing if you sneak in and they don't see you? We'll find out. Well, I don't think anybody's heard me yet, so let's follow the clues. I think I found a basement, and I believe I'm in the right spot. I think I found it.
Well, welcome to the Finch Creek and Comfort Railroad, young man.
Yeah, I believe I'm looking for either a conductor, a collector, or a curator by the name
I think
of.
you probably found all three, but if you'd like, here's a ticket to the railroad.
So my first question is, how many square feet do we have
Well,
down
I have
here?
approximately 2,400 square feet here. Probably the railroad is about, I'd say about 1,600 square feet. With
And-
the station and everything.
To confirm, I am in a undisclosed location in northern Michigan.
That is correct.
Then I'm in the right spot. So this would be the main entrance.
This is the main entrance. I'm also the station master.
So we got the right spot and the right guy. Let's see what we got in here.
This is our little toy store.
Oh, so this is the store area.
This is the store area.
And are any items for sale?
These are mostly on display.
So
None for sale.
a store,
That doesn't sell anything.
that's the way we like it. And what's the average age?
The average age of the trains in here are from about 1912 to 2020.
So the oldest being 1912. And is there an 1912 train in here?
Yes, there's a green one right above your head to the right.
There's a 1913.
Right there. That would be the 1912.
And is this the oldest train you have in the collection?
This is my oldest train.
And when did you get this?
Oh, I got it probably about 10 years ago.
So as a collector, you may know, what's the first train you actually picked up?
The first train I got for Christmas was a Pennsylvania, Lionel, Pennsylvania steam engine.
And what year in Christmas would that
That
be?
would be 1949.
And where's that one at?
That one is over on the other display, which would be over here. These are all standard gauge trains from Lionel from about 1906 to 1941.
And we'll get to those gauges here in a minute.
I also have my dad's trains.
So it runs in the family.
It does.
So let's go find that old one.
Okay, the other one that I got for Christmas is right here. It's this 671 Pennsylvania.
This guy right here.
That one right
And what
there.
gauge is this?
That's O gauge.
O gauge.
All these on this thing are O gauge. There's some. This is an American Flyer up here, and the rest are all Lionel. And there's one Marks down at the other end.
So do you have them organized?
I do, believe it or not. I have them organized.
By the looks of it, I do believe it. This being the store that sells no items, and this is the O gauge, you said?
This is standard gauge.
Oh, standard gauge?
Yes.
We just visited the what gauge?
O gauge.
O gauge.
And
this is the oh my gosh gauge in here because
this here is more standard gauge.
we have an incredible amount of trains. So these are more in the standard.
These are all standard gauge right here, and on the wall over there are the pre-war trains. They were manufactured from basically 1915 to 41 actually.
So we have some 1935s.
Some of them I have tags on them, and some I don't.
These look a little older over here.
Yeah, those are from around World War. These sets up here, early about 1918, 1920. These right in that time frame. This is the first O gauge set, one of the O gauge sets, right here, 1923.
And I'm sure most people will want to know, like, value-wise, are they by...
It varies value-wise. It depends on how many they made, what kind of condition it's in, whether you still have the boxes, how much.
So not necessarily the age.
It's not necessarily the age. It's
The oldest may not be the most valuable.
no. It's basically how many were made, how well they were taken care of. Boxes, sometimes the boxes are worth more than the trains.
So kids, keep all your boxes.
Yep, keep the boxes.
Because one day you're going to be the guy living in a basement full of trains. So we were talking about the gauges.
Different gauges, different type of tracks. From the small N gauge, Z gauge,
So,
O gauge, standard gauge, and then the different
so
manufacturers.
those are the smallest, the Z's.
Z is one of the smallest.
Do you have any running?
No,
What's the most that you have running would be the
the O gauge,
O gauge, which is
that right there.
pretty much this.
All that down
row.
there, right, yeah. Just different
All the same
brand-
size, but
all the
different
same
brands
size,
and different styles.
brands, yeah.
And standard would run the
B,
big ones.
Standard, and then G gauge is the next one down.
And there's a Lionel O down there.
Yeah.
Oh. And so this would be this O gauge.
That's O gauge, yeah. And that's got the trolley.
Oh, that's automatic reverse. And we have a Thomas train. As you can see, everything works. And these look pretty old too, right?
Well, the Transformers that's from 1949. I got it with the set. Thomas, they still make Thomas.
So Thomas, that's from 1949 as well?
No, that Thomas is, they started making that around 2000. something like
Okay.
that. And they still make it.
It's always Christmas down here, even when it is. Uh-oh. We're getting into horror music theme now. I feel like some evil clowns are gonna jump out somewhere. And this is the in construction zone.
This is the farm zone and the mountain zone.
Yet to be finished. Whoa.
And then we have up on top here we have G gauge. Yet to be completed.
Whoa. So how much track length do you think you have?
I'd say several hundred feet.
And in real world lengths, that would be 700 miles, right?
Pretty close.
They're just lined up.
Ready to go.
So I think we need to see some of these guys running.
All right.
So this is the actual switchboard. Looks like it's not hooked up, right?
It's not complete. It's in progress.
So this will actually do
It
your...
actually turns out, operates the switches and operates the different spurs so you can bring more trains out. Provides power. So the O gauge one we're going to run is the Pure Marquette. Passenger, that's from 1994,
95. Uh-oh. That's some speed right there. So you can see this place is quite large. So when it notices that it stops, is that when it changes sounds, or do you have control over the sounds?
You can't change sounds with this one. The newer stuff you can feel the whistle and make it pretty neat.
Way back in the corner. Oh, sneaky little guy.
We do the steam engine. That's from
Yeah, it wasn't.
early 30s.
I hear it. We got contact.
Pulling 500 series oil tank cars. Flyer from the late 20s.
So that's a late 20s model.
Yeah, American Flyer.
And then this one was the
That was my dad's set.
1918. So it was a Christmas gift to 1918.
Yep.
So was it most likely made in 1918 as well?
Mm-hmm.
And they're going off of.
I can tell you what years they were made. They were made for several years. A lot of these engines were made for several years.
But were based off at the time. So this is the trains that were either running or had been running.
Well, those were they're modeled after an S2, which ran in Manhattan, down in the lower Manhattan.
1949.
Yeah,
And you have this one?
yeah, the upper one.
$57.50.
So, how much you think he was making a week? $35?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So this one being $67.50 for the set.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? 1940, 1949. And that's the same one, but not the set.
That's not the set.
Then how many came in the set?
Well, you got a set. You usually got the two A units, which is and the B unit's the one in the middle. That was extra. You got 3 or 4 cars with it, track and a transformer.
And these run about 250
Yeah,
because they made
roughly.
them, so many of them.
Yeah, if you get one in decent shape, might be a little more, a little less. Power points.
So about how many trains we have here?
Probably about 750.
So how come about 2 hours ago it was about 1,000?
Well, it could be between 750 and 1,000.
Okay. Or it could be a glass of wine.
Yeah, it could be a glass
That's
of wine.
augmented the numbers.
Yeah,
And the oldest I think was
it was over on the other side.
on the other side, but something about this one, right?
Yeah, that's a Lionel reproduction. That's an MTH actually. That's an MTH reproduction.
And they were circa.
Oh, they started building those. Mike's Train House built them back in the.
What is it representing? Like what era?
The 30s.
Okay.
That was from the the early 30s, late 20s.
And then these ones
These
here.
are 23, they started building them. They built them to 29. This one here is earlier, probably from 19, 18, 20, something like that.
And
And then there's different size cars. Like here's a Lionel number 13. They built these from 1906 to 1926. And then when they stopped building these, they replaced them with the 213s, which is 1926 to 1940.
And before I ran into my technical difficulties, I think we had a favorite train,
Oh, favorite train?
which
Oh,
is in the
Prosper-
kept in the box.
Yeah, that's right. I don't have it out, but it's a Prosperity set. It's an Ives reproduction.
And what would
By
be
MTH.
what would be the age? Like, what was it
They were built
representing?
in the late 20s.
Oh, that's shiny.
It's copper plated.
And what gauge?
It's standard gauge.
Standard gauge.
Yeah.
Oh. And this is the only one, or did they come in sets? Was there other ones
It was
available?
a set, a 3-car set or a 4-car set, with the engine and the tender. Let's see if I got the tender here in the engine. Here's the engine.
And they must be special because they're wrapped in cloth. Oh, wow. That's pretty awesome. So if you let them outside, they'd patina up nice?
They probably get messed up. You don't
Yeah.
want to mess them up. This
Wow.
set's worth a few bucks.
And how long did it take you to find it?
It took me a while. Finally found it at York, Pennsylvania at the big train show.
Pays to go to the big train shows, not the little guys.
Yep. There's some other sets I would like to have too, but I haven't seen them around. They're not easy. Some of them are not easy. They only made so many sets. And so you can only find them certain times. People sell them. And this one here all come out about 1935, 36.
Oh, pre-war.
Mm-hmm.
You know, little excavators and
Those are,
little, they load the cars.
well, those were cranes that unloaded stuff and put cars back on tracks and engines back on track.
So this one looks pretty old.
That was from about 35 too. It looks old because it's beat up. I was going to refinish it, but I haven't got around to it yet.
1936.
And there's one of the original boxes, but you don't see too many of them. This is the Hiawatha, Milwaukee Road, Hiawatha. That's
The orange one?
That's from the Lionel Classic from 1988.
Very nice. Yeah, that's quite an area in here. Very cool. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the tour. As you can see, the way out's a little cleaner. As part of the cost of getting in to see such a unique area, I had to shovel some snow. It was well worth it. And I'll be back. Hopefully next time in the summer. And the cost of entry will be, I don't know, kayaking down the river. Time to walk back west. Should get there as soon as it warms up.